Good morning to you, Lagos, Nigeria, and welcome to yet another wonderful time on radio. It is Financial Matters brought to you by Fidelity Bank, and I still remain your humble host, William Tuzamba. And for those of you who might just be joining us for the very first time, because there's always first timers, every Thursday 9 a.m. on Hot 93.3 FM Lagos, we bring this program to you. And on this program, we look at the do's and don'ts of a modern business. We look at the regulatory numbers. We look at all the quality information that both you as an individual and especially as a business owner need to stay relevant, especially in this highly competitive business climate that we find ourselves today. Now, today's topic for the program promises to be a very eye-opening and engaging discussion, as we've always done on this program. And today, we are looking at the subject matter of business survival strategy during uncertain times. There is no doubt that we are indeed living in very uncertain times. A lot is happening, not just within Nigeria, all over the globe. There are so many things happening that makes the situation of things right now very, very uncertain. And apart from the individual lives that it's taken and properties, businesses too are one way or the other affected by all the uncertainties happening in Nigeria and globally. So this morning, today, we want to see how and why it's important for as a business to have a survival strategy, especially bearing in mind that there will always be uncertainties, both natural, man-made, that might occur. So how can you as a business develop or create a survival strategy during uncertain times? And as we always do on this program today, we also have a guest in-house, one person that is fast becoming a regular face. I remember the very first time this individual was on this program, I did mention that we'll be having him come every now and then as our in-house analyst to help us shed some more light to all the various topics, especially when it has to do with business and strategy. So we are very excited to have this individual in the program today. But don't be in a haste. Maybe we want to go on a quick break, and when we come back, I will introduce my guest today, and we'll get right into the discussion proper. So stay tuned.
This is how you walk when you know you've got your payments covered. You're confident. No bill payments can shake you. Need to make a quick payment? Your Fidelity banking app's available 24/7. You don't have data? Star 770 hash is all you need. You're out and about? Your Fidelity bank card's accepted everywhere. Need cash right now? There's a Fidelity Bank ATM near you. Bills, transfers, payments, purchases, nothing can faze you. So walk tall, cause you know Fidelity is always there for you. Start banking with Fidelity today.
We're Fidelity. We keep our word.
Fidelity, the bank that keeps to its word. We on Financial Matters every week endeavor against all odds to keep to our words, and we're excited and happy to be reaching out to you this morning. Now, before that break, I did tell you that this morning we shall be looking at the topic, business survival strategy during uncertain times. Now, a quick background info, or call it definition on the subject matter we'll be treating this morning goes this way. In this time of increasing uncertainty, business survival strategy is very important to stand the test of time, no doubt. Actions taken during such times will determine the general direction for the company and its various components to achieve a desired state for the future. So, as I did mention, it is very important as a business, even as an individual, to have a survival strategy in place in case of the unforeseen occurrences, and with all the uncertainties happening in the country today with insecurity and what have you. Now is even more important for businesses to have such things in place. And as I did mention, I have an in-house guest this morning that will be helping us to understand this topic proper and shed some light into it. And is no other person than our very own Izu Uwoma. Izu, you're welcome to the program this morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
We're both wearing pink.
Yes, it's for those who can watch us live online. It's a pinky affair this morning from my earlier colleague Bibi, who held down the early morning breakfast show. She was on pink. I came in with pink, and interestingly, Izu just walked in, and Izu had pink on. And even one of Izu's colleagues who was also live in the studio with us, she's wearing pink. So it's a bright pinky affair in the city of Lagos at Hot FM this morning, and it's really exciting. Izu, you're welcome. Now, for those of you who might just be hearing Izu's voice for the first time, Izu is the founder and MD of Hexavia Consulting. He's a regular face on our program, Financial Matters, because he is into strategy, business setups, startups, and corporate restructuring consulting. He is a graduate of mathematics with 2 MBAs and over a decade of experience working with startups and big businesses. His core is in building startups and in corporate restructuring. He is also a certified member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, and the Project Management Institution, USA. By the side, he also writes. He's a regular columnist on Business Day newspaper, where he also writes about business strategy. So, Izu, once more, you're welcome to this morning's program. Now, as we always do, the program is very interactive, as we always say, and our phone number still remains 0818-242-6591. I repeat, 0818-242-6591. So, as we kick the discussion going, feel free to call in with your questions, comments, and we'll do our best to answer them. Now, Izu, let's jump right into it. Survival strategy for businesses in these very uncertain times that we live in.
Yeah.
What are why is this important? Let me even start with this. Why is this important?
Yeah, like I usually say in this show, when you can't change your environment, you change yourself. Right. When you can't change your environment, you change yourself. You can't change macroeconomic issues in Nigeria, politics, regulation. So what you do, change yourself. Right. And sadly, some of the problems we have in Nigeria right now is not even just national, they're international. Of course, everybody's working from home, the vaccines and all that. So it's important to survive, right? And not just survive. I don't even like the word survive. I like the word thrive, right? Because survival looks like your last resort. Right? But how can you thrive in emerging and uncertain times? And I also don't think it's an uncertain time. I think it's an emerging time. The world is resetting, and for new things to be born, new industries are popping up, new leaders are popping up, new brands are popping up, and this happens every 25 years. If you follow the psychology of world growth, right? Every 25 years the world resets, and when the world resets, there are good parameters. You see that all of a sudden you have top 10 new billionaires, like you saw in the middle of the recession. Bill Gates was outside. Warren Buffett and all these guys who's been there for 20 years, Carlos Slim, Warren Buffett, Bernard Arnault, Bill Gates, and then you had new young boys. You had Mark Zuckerberg coming, you had the Elon Musk coming, you had the Amazon boy, Jeff Bezos coming, right? So, and it's happening in Nigeria too. While we're making all this plenty things, new billionaires are popping up. People are unseating. It's just a matter of time. People will unseat the Dangotes and the Rabius of Boa and all that. So it happens all the time. So the thing is, how can you be the new set of people who's unseating, right? You see this all the time. So it's important to know that, to manage expectations and say, look, the old is giving way for the new. That's what's happening. And it comes in crisis. So this crisis, whether you're talking about COVID, you're talking about political issues, it's just how the world works. It resets itself. It's happened from the days of Henry Ford. Henry Ford was on seat by Thomas Edison. You had JP Morgan and Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller on sat the other guys, and they created the world's biggest companies, which they are like the GEs, the Exxon Mobils, the Chevrons. That's how this world works. Just understand it. Like the small dog in your street is about to become the big dog. Right? That's how it works. And how can you fit into it? Intangibles. First things first is stay off that crisis mindset. Right? The greatest, as a rule, the universe doesn't like people who are in chaos. So you have to find calm, right? Don't join everybody to be having that control. Oh, the world is falling down, you know, Nigeria is, I mean, we're saying that, yes, the realities is not looking good, but don't forget you're an entrepreneur. You don't live in the present. You live in the future. Right? Average people live in the past, right? Below average people live in the past. Average people live in the present. High flyers live in the future. So you're not even thinking of now, you're thinking about later. You're saying, okay, what can this hold for us in the future? Right? So I think the first thing is a state of mind. Have a peace state of mind. Think positive, talk positive, right? Have affirmations, right? That's the first step, because money doesn't go in a place of chaos. Money doesn't go in a place of war. As a rule, once peace leaves, money leaves. And it's the reason why I look at the northeast and the north central and the northwest. You see that they're not exactly as prosperous as every other part, because there has been crisis there for years. Right? And if you look at the countries that are, the states in Nigeria that are surviving and are thriving, like the Lagos, you know, the Anambra, and people don't understand Anambra is such an isolated case, because even the IPOB originally should be Anambra. Because if you know the history of Biafra and Ojukwu, but they've sort of isolated themselves, and basically they've left wildlife for people that have time for it, right? The Imos and all that. But and that's what we need to understand, that if you can get peace in a state, in a country, in your business, in your family, you create a building block for ideas, concepts, and insights to flourish, right? So how do you not get that done? First thing first is remove all of that mindset of, oh, we're in chaos, we're in trouble, think positive and act positive, right? Then the second step is, for me, I think it's important. Right now, new generations are popping up, new challenges are popping up. Be one of the guys who are solving the problem, right? And the only thing I can think about right now is be an alternative to the existing. There's cheaper alternatives. You have to be the one to think of being a cheaper alternative. So I'll give you a practical example. Most people have lost their jobs now. They've downsized or right-sized. You're working from home. They cut down so people are asking, what is the cheaper alternative to what I'm currently doing, right? For what I'm currently spending my money on. So if you run a school, be the cheaper alternative to a school, and then go for the brands, right, that are bigger than used clients. I'll give you a practical example. You run a small school in a good place, right, upper middle class school. Can you go for the clients of people in Corona and Green Spring as a school owner? Because some people in those kind of schools, right, are also looking for cheaper alternative. They're asking questions. Okay, why am I paying 4 million a month for a term? Sorry, why do I pay 4 million a term? Can you provide them a cheaper alternative without reduction of quality of that 4 million service? Right? And same thing with everything else, right? And you see why it looks like the smartphone market is eating into the Apple market in Nigeria, because now this, what we used to call China phones, are creating better alternatives. Very true. Sometimes cheaper alternatives. I've seen funny phones, and I don't want to give credit to people that didn't pay for ads. But I've seen phones, that Chinese phones, which camera is almost as good as the so-called
high
iPhones,
flyers,
right? And they are cheaper alternatives. So everybody has started thinking of, can I be a cheaper alternative? I'm having that conversation as a consultant. I say, okay, can I be a cheaper alternative to the guys who go for PwC and KPMG and Deloitte Consulting? Can I provide the same quality of service as PwC, KPMG, and Deloitte for a bit of a more reasonable or efficient price? So be a cheaper alternative. That's a key thing you want to have. Well, let me say an efficient alternative, because nobody should call their brand cheap. Just call yourself efficient, you know, affordable. Good. Third thing is strategic partnerships. You have to find a way to partner. Right, you just have to have a way to partner, right? So you're a pharmacy, you want to partner with a hospital and broker a deal with the doctor that say, okay, anytime these guys need drugs, can you refer them to us? At the end of the month, we give you points, we give you commissions, we give you, right? It's not kickback, it's called finder's fee, right? So be a cheaper alternative to every single thing, and then be the strategic partners with bigger brands. This is how it works, right? You want to ask yourself, where do my clients go to before and after they come to me? So I'll give you a practical example. I'm going to use the weirdest example. Pardon me. The guy that sells caskets, right? He's saying, oh, you can't do anything. You can't force people to die so your casket can sell. You can't. So, but you can say, okay, where do people go to before they come to caskets? They go to the morgue. They deposit their loved ones, right? So you're going to go to a morgue and say, oh, you know what? Let's have a partnership. Anybody that deposits, the person is gone. After the cry, you still bury the person. Can you refer them to me? Now, is where do people go to before they come to you? Right, the same thing. A pharmacy. Where do people go to before they go to pharmacy? They go to hospital. Right. We started a sort of like a hedge fund in Xavier. So we're launching a Xavier Capital, and in that we have a startup brand that we're pushing. And I told the founder when we were going to invest money in this, I said, so you want to do smoothies, spa, parfaits, and all these kind of things. Where do people go to before they come to you? It's a gym. You sell juice, you sell parfait, you sell salad. These are healthy things. Who are the people that take healthy stuff? What lifestyle do they live? So they go to the gym. Let's put our brand next to a gym, right? So strategic partnership, being a cheaper alternative, right, and cutting costs. You have to be able to cut costs. I'll give a few more tips as we go.
Okay. Let me jump in at this point. Is well said. Now let's look at what does strategic thinking look like? When you talk about having a strategic thinking, yes, you've hammered a bit. Hammered a bit on why businesses and individuals should avoid dwelling on the crisis at the moment and see how to transform themselves, and how understanding your situation around you can also help you to scale during such times. Now, let's paint it in a more holistic way so that the average individual listener this morning would understand. When somebody says having a strategic thinking, what does it look like in theory?
Okay.
In like a diagram theory, what does it look like?
Okay, so this is interesting, and I hope at some point I'm practical. So let me crave your dangers that if you're listening now and you have a business problem and you want to call in to have us solve the problem, you can call in. I don't know if that's okay. Right?
True.
So you can call in so we can practically do strategic thinking on your business. So you can see, because it's not just theory, it's in motion. Because strategic thinking is the next step after I have an idea. You see, when you have an idea would not work itself. You have to think out the steps to that idea. So, for example, I said, we have strategy. You have to have strategic partnerships. You have a great idea. I'm going to have strategic partnerships. The next question, okay, how would you have strategic partnership? That's strategic thinking. So strategic thinking is the deliberate and intentional journey, right? Through your conceptualization to finish. So I like to call it process thoughts to finish.
Okay.
It's a journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's, I have this great idea. Now what next? What are the steps?
I need to
and
follow.
That step, that whole journey is what strategic thinking is. And for you to get strategic thinking, it has to be one, intentional and deliberate. Like I like to say, anybody can fall off a ladder by accident. Nobody climbs a ladder by accident. So you can't get into strategic thinking by accident, right? You can have an idea by accident. I mean, you can be having your bath and a great idea comes. You didn't think about it. I mean, you can be in crisis and a great idea comes. But the think through process, and this is where a lot of people get it wrong. And this is why you see very intelligent people who are idealistic or should I say creative, don't still make anything tangible because they don't know what to follow up after the next idea. Right. So there are elements to these things, right? So once you also understand that the first thing is you have to be deliberate and intentional. You're also intentional with the process. For example, I am intentional about where my strategic thinking happen. I was hearing somebody was saying something about Oyedepo that he has a chair. He calls it thinking chair. He sits there every time he wants to think. Of course, he just sits down there and think. Because humans are funny, right? The human mind is funny. It's very routine based. The universe works with routines. That's why they say routines build character. So you want to have a routine for your strategic thinking. For companies, they know that every quarter we need to go on a retreat. And when we go on this retreat, everybody shut down, turn off your phones, and we think through. So the key word is intentional, deliberate. And that intentional, deliberate can now be from touch points to people you think with. Because you also might want to think of people to think with. Every great man knows to have not just friends. Now break your friends into different categories. So you have friends you hang out with, party. You have friends you discuss family with. You have friends you pray with, the prayer group if you're a Christian. Right? You also have friends you think with. It's called a mastermind. Right? Everybody must have a think tank. Right? Every great business person has this. Everybody has this. And if you don't have it, it means that you're actually derailing from strategic thinking. Right, a faculty, right? In your company, you want to have a small circle on your management that are your inner circle that you think with, right? Then you can now move to the strategic fit. Now, strategic fit is how do you merge the opportunities, which is the idea, with your reality, your capability. So, a major element after intentionality is what I call strategic fit. Too technical, but strategic fit is the compatibility between external opportunity and internal capability. Right? So, for example, if I say, I still stay on this thought of strategic partnerships. Or I want to have a strategic partnership with, let me say this station. Right? I'll now have to ask, that's the opportunity is the station, right? And now to ask what's the internal capability I need to develop. Probably speaking to be on radio. That's capability. Because sometimes people don't understand that you can have all the great idea, but you don't have the capability. Look, there are people that live in Dangote's house and they've lived there for 10 years. Their life has not changed.
Yep.
What has happened is that they have opportunity, but they don't have capability to back that opportunity.
Follow it up.
Last, you end at give away for me.
Do give away.
He will just give you crumbs.
Send forth.
He will just give you crumbs as you know, you've been living in my house because you don't have capability. If you have capability and you show him the capability, you're now discussing. It's not now even a favor. It's a win-win. I see, and that's how strategic thinking happens. Right, so I hope I've been able to. I think practically, if we have case studies, it will sort of help. So if you have a business challenge right now, you can call in whatever industry has spent 10 years, 10 good years with over 2 masters and PMPs and over 10 certifications, just explaining and breaking down and walking brands through the whole process of building.
Fantastic. Maybe at this point in time, it's good for me to remind the listeners of our calling number. The number is 0818 242 6591. I repeat, 0818-242-6591. So if you want us to do a quick case study on your business, Izu is in-house here to help us do that. So feel free to call in with your questions and we'll do our best to answer them. Now, Izu, let's make progress to this other question. In very literal terms, why is survival important for a business? Why is it 100% important for a business to have as part of its structure, even from the get-go, as part of its business plan, a survival strategy?
Yeah.
In case it is. Why is it important?
Okay. So one, I'll start from the obvious. Peace, right? Peace. There's a peace that comes from knowing that tomorrow exists. Right. I think that's the peace that religion sort of gives us, right? Exodus 40:40 says, "I'll fight your battles, I need to give you rest." In different terms, it's give you peace, right? So you need to understand that there is a place that a survival strategy. That survival strategy is basically sustainability. There's a place you need to get to, so you stop acting like the world is about to end today, because every single thing that comes around you looks like the world's about to end. And right, so I think why the businesses, everybody needs to have peace and freedom. And the more structure you have, the more strategy and structure you have, the more peace, right, you have. So let me rephrase that. The more strategy and structure you have in your business, the more peace and freedom you have in your life is how it works.
Okay.
So if you see anybody who is at peace,
yes,
it comes from structure. There's a structure, there's a peace you have when you know that your father wrote a will, right, and left you with $10 million. There's a peace you have.
Of course.
There's a peace. When people are running around, you have peace. There's a peace you have when you're watching a horror movie that you've seen the end.
Yes.
And nobody has seen the end before.
Yes.
You're the only one cinema that I've watched it twice. There's a piece where everybody's like, oh, it's good to die, it's good to die. You know you have seen the movie to the end. You know not to happen, right? And so that's what survival strategy does. And intentional strategic thinking will deliver that. You know that, so things are happening now. You know that what's happening now is old, is giving way to new. And I have a strategy to be the new that will take over the old, right? That puts you in a place of peace. And people allure people that have peace and pleasantness, right? So I think that's one, right? Another why it's important to have a survival strategy is so that you stop living in today and start living in tomorrow. And then you also prepare yourself for tomorrow. I like to ask you a question. If you're driving right now, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you a simple question. You're going to work, or you're coming from work, or you're going to a meeting. That thing you've been doing for months, which is what you're also doing today. For how long can you do it? If you the lifestyle that thing provides you, so you work so you can pay rent, pay school fees because you work. The question I'm asking is simple. If you stop working today, how long can you maintain your lifestyle? And that's what people, and this is why survival strategy and continuity is important. And a lot of people can answer that question. For how long can you live your lifestyle if you stop doing what you're doing right now? And a lot of people don't have answers to that. And because there's really no survival strategy, there's no sustainability plan, there's no structure. Right, a lot of people don't. No passive income, right? No side hustle. No money put out. It might not even be money. It's not even money for me. I don't think it's money. I think it's framework, it's system, supportive system. It can even be, look, you know what? You know that I've raised 10 people who are doing well. That God forbid, even if I drop dead today, my kids,
they'll
my kids will be on
them.
the wheel, right? And that's why the Jewish people are so powerful in the world. They make about less than 5% of Americans, but control over 60% of the wealth.
Yeah,
because the Jewish people understand this concept of look after our own.
Yes,
right. That can be a survival strategy for you, a sustainability strategy. It could be, you know what, I've put out 10%. I've put out 10% of my income for the past 5 years, and that 10% is on fixed, fixed assets, right? And I know that it will keep, increasing.
Generating.
So it's really how it works, if you ask me.
Fantastic. Now, remember you can still call in. The number is 0818-242-6591. I think we have a call. Hello, good morning. Okay. Hello, good morning. Okay, I think we've lost that line. So feel free to call in 0818-242-6591. Now, Izu, okay, we have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, yes, good morning. Can we meet you, please?
Okay, my name is Adugo. I'm a regular caller.
Good morning, madam. Nice to have you on the program this morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing, Mr. Williams?
We're doing well. We're doing very well.
Yes, too. You chose a very interesting topic this week: how to survive survive our business.
Yes.
How to survive our business in this trying times.
Right.
It's something that we really need as Nigerians and as a people or as an entrepreneur, because after this COVID, a lot of us could not get back on our feet to make our business prosper or succeed. A lot of persons, entrepreneurs had to slash down salaries of their staff, So we really need this strategy. I'm looking forward to hearing other tips that can help me and other of my friends to survive at this time, especially with the dollar increase and all of that. I'd like to hear more. But I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead, please.
Is there a way we can get the number of your guests? Should we have more questions on tips? Is there a way?
Sure. We will definitely make that happen. Thank you very much for your contribution, madam. Thank you. And for your regular calls. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, Izu, I think before you step into that, to make comments in line with what the last caller does, maybe you should quickly tell them about the program you're having this weekend.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So my name is Izu. Izu is spelled as E-I-Z-U, just in case you want to follow me on Instagram. Right. And I run a consulting firm. It's Hexavia. It's called Hexavia, business and management consulting firm. Over the last 10 years, we've been creating CEOs in a network called Decoded. So we have an event this Saturday, right? It's called Decoded. It's a chilled hangout. It's a masterclass come barbecue and chop life / after party for people who really are CEOs, top level executive, HRs of companies who are asking, how can we unwind and also learn? Right. It's interesting stuff. It would happen in Okpebi, Ikeja, right? Shout out to WowMe, right? WowMe is an expression concierge company who's helping us organize that. So Decoded is a hangout, right? It's being hosted in the cottage party. So there's a party and then there's a masterclass, which is an interesting experiment because I like to define creativity as intelligence having fun, right? Creativity is defined as intelligence having fun. You can actually have fun and still learn. Right? So it's an interesting experiment. For people who are asking how they can reach me, I'll be there on Saturday because that's May 1st. That's Workers' Day. So that I'll give to workers, right? So it's an interesting masterclass, afternoon / evening based masterclass that ends up in an after party, right? The last one we had last month had Ice Prince, Harry Song. Just come to chill with us.
Okay.
Executive CEOs, and afterwards you can still get your performance. It's a very small circle stuff, right? Good. It's called Decoded. Now, if you want to attend, it's for CEOs, MDs, and to executive. The fee is 20,000 naira. Very small. We're not interested in making profits. It's actually for your food and your drinks and everything else, right? So if you want to attend, just say interested, right? To the number. When you say interested, we're going to give you all the details of the actual address, right? Because it's still very close knit. We want it to be a very small circle CEOs, right? So if you want to attend Decoded, the hangout, and CEOs masterclass, barbecue, cocktails, games, right? On Saturday, right? So just say interested to the number 080 3520 2891. I repeat that. Just say interested to 080-3520-2891. It's for top level CEOs, executives.
Good.
It's called the Hexagon Decoded, hosted at the Cottage Party.
Good.
If you want to be a part of that event this Saturday, it starts at 4 p.m. all the way to 11, 12 midnight.
Till any time.
It's fun, interesting masterclass.
It's beautiful and interesting to note that I've been opportune to attend the Decoded a couple of times, and it was indeed worth all the time and energy. So if you want to learn more about how to develop a good business strategy and you want to meet Izu in person, Saturday is the date to make that happen. Now, Izu, let's go back to some of the wonderful comment the last caller made, especially when she drew the analogy on how a lot of businesses had to scale back, cut down resources, cut down staff strength after the very first experience of COVID-19 of 2020. Now, can you talk more on some of those points that she made and how today's topic can help address some of those issues?
Okay, so this is what happens when people have panic.
Yeah.
First, panic attack follows a panic, right?
Very true.
And that's also my fight. Stay off panic attacks, because the universe, how it works is evil in itself dwells in panic, right? You know, I was reading something about the bomb, one of the UK bomb blasts years ago, about the terrorists they caught. You know, asked him how many people are you going to kill, and he said about 200 people. So how many people was the bomb itself designed to kill? He said 20. He said, 20, 200. What happened? He said there's a rule. If you bomb 20 people, 180 would, out of panic, enter. You saw what happened with the Kenya bomb blast.
Yes.
People just ran into a swamp, right, and lost their lives. You don't want to be in that place, right? Now, after you're in a stable place mentally, now do the following.
Okay. Sorry, Izu, I think we have another caller. Sorry to cut you in there. Hello? Hello? Okay. Please continue to give us your call on 0818-242-6591. Just bear with us with the small network issues that we're having. But feel free to continue to try. 0818-242-6591. Izu, please continue.
Okay, so people think cost cutting, right? Cost cutting, right? But I'd rather like to think of two things.
Yeah.
Even minimally, cost cutting. I like to think of revenue generating, right? So there are always two ways a business can succeed, right? Or stay afloat. Is either cut cost or increase revenue.
Yeah.
A lot of people cut costs and not increase revenue.
Increase.
So everybody downsized instead of asking, how can we hire more marketers and push sales, right? So that's one, right? Then a lot of people, when you cut cutting, they retrench people, they downsize, but you might be downsizing even the wrong people, right? In time of chaos, it's not the time where you lay off your marketers, except they are not even good marketers, right? What I usually suggest people do is, if we're going to downsize, look at all of your staff and downsize them based on three things. One, are you making money for me? Two, are you saving money for me, or are you making me look good? Yeah. If you're not doing it, three, you're out. Right, and I think this is, even in creating organizational structure or organograms, is don't have anybody in your team who's not doing any of these three. Best if you can do the whole three. Is that if you're around my circle, right, as a team member, and I've been blessed by good staff. The two guys in the studio, shout out to Mayowa and shout out to AZK, brilliant guys. They all made first class in school. As a rule, all of my team members make first class. You must have a 4.5 GPA. But sometimes I tell them, I say, which one, as a joke, I say, which one are you doing for me? Are you saving money for me? Are you making money for me? Or are you making me look good? You have to make me look good.
Yes.
Or when I say make me look good, not me. Make my brand, my business look good.
Very true.
Right? You have to save money, you have to make money. So that's a rule. Then you have to differentiate yourself.
Sorry, I think we have another caller. Hello. Oh, I think we've lost that call. Okay, go ahead, please.
You have to differentiate yourself, right? The only way you win competition, right, is either differentiation or cost leadership. That's when you're the cheapest, or niche focus. And most people will be shocked that people are doing business without any of this as competitive advantage. They're not a cheaper alternative, right? They're not efficient.
Yeah.
Then also, there's no differentiation. Okay, so you say that you are a fashion designer. Do you have a differentiation? What is different from you and the other fashion designers? And there are a lot of brands in Nigeria that don't have differentiation. Yes. One of early days of example, one of the brands we worked on, which we were very proud of, is Rough and Tumble.
Okay.
Rough and Tumble showed us something by that you can create differentiation by just being the brand for children. That was their own market. They weren't trying to go with David Wedge or Ouch or any of these guys. They just want to take a small market. And you'd be shocked at people who don't know that there's still empty spaces. There's still no brand for pregnant women. A fashion brand. Pregnant women still want to slay. They still want to slay. They still want to look cool. They still want to look good. Right? But there's no brand. There's no brand for a lot of things. I mean, we didn't think that somebody could build a brand for just ice cream till Cold Stone came. That's differentiation, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's really what it is now. Because all the time, we don't have a time in the world. I might not be able to break down all of them, right? So I would like you to attend this session this Saturday, right? Just send interested, right? I'm going to break down all of the steps of thriving, not surviving. So survival is first step. Thriving is next step. Understand that the old is changing to giving way to the new. How can you be that new generation? And if you want to attend, it's called the Hexagon Decoded. It's an intensive afternoon and evening session. Book review, business case studies and master classes, barbecue drinks, and an after party. Perfect way to spend your workers' day, May 1st.
May 1st.
You want to attend? It's on the mainland, right? It's an interesting experiment, right? Just say interested to the number 080-3520-2891. We have very limited slots, so it's only the first 20 people that we can admit. Just the first 20 people. Just say interested to 080-3520-2891.
Fantastic. Now, Izu, let's look at another angle, which is more like a twist from the topic today, but it still touches on the issue of uncertainty.
Yeah,
because we're all plagued with it. It's still fresh in our minds, and it's this issue of the USSD with the banks and the telcos. It really it hit the country as a whole like a storm, because just before now, the early days of the GSM technology, we saw so many card sellers all over the streets, on the traffic stops, selling recharge cards, and it was a business. But over time, technology evolved, and we got used to the USSD concept of recharging your card, your phone via your bank directly, and doing all the money transfer. I can transfer credit to you. I can send money to you with ease from my mobile device. And so many Nigerians got used to it. But all of a sudden, like a sledgehammer, the banks were like, nope, we are no longer doing this with the telcos. And it created this whirlwind of a problem, because not just individuals, some businesses, some startup businesses also depended on running some of their transactions via USSD. So what's your take on that issue?
Okay, so on a sarcastic note, right? We start saying every now and then the generation resets itself, old gives way for the new.
Yes.
The banks are those giants that are played out, and they don't realize it, that old is giving way to the new. The banks are getting what you call gbasgbos from different angles.
I like that.
You try Forex, BDCs are hitting them badly, you know. You try remittances, right? They're contesting now with Bitcoin people, you know. And then telecoms too is hitting them gbasgbos, right?
Yes.
And they don't realize what's happening. And I feel like what's going on is bullying. Right, the banks trying to survive. They're bullying people. They're bullying fintech companies. You know, you must get a license that they know they can afford. You know, Bitcoin. You know, they're going to close down account on Bitcoins, and sort of the CBN is helping them, right? But here's the thing: is you can't fight innovation. Nobody has ever won the battle of innovation.
Very true.
Right? I mean, for years the fossil fuel guys fought electric cars. Today, Tesla's capitalization is way more than Toyota, Honda, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, all combined. Right, and that's what's happening with this. The banks are losing market share, and it's not to another bank. It's to people they would not have assumed. Fintech, telecoms.
Yep.
And this is what people don't realize, that once generations reset, once the universe resets, new industries are born, and those industries come from a hybrid of two already existing industries. It's like what happened with Uber. Uber is a combination of technology and transport. When you combine technology and transport, you have Uber, right? Same as Netflix, a combination of entertainment and technology. Right. Now, the banks don't realize that there's a new industry coming up. It's a combination of banking and telecoms, and telecoms, data, and that is fintech. So what the banks have done differently is know not to go head to head with an MTN. MTN wins in all areas, right? So the biggest bank in Nigeria, the GTs and the Zending Bank, don't have more than 20 million accounts, client base. Guess what? MTN has 60 million data, 60 million subscribers. The banks don't have 20 million. One, the amount of smartphones in existence, you can put it side to side with the amount of accounts you have. You know, I like to do that math. So when you think of Nigeria as 200 million people, 180 million people, the reality about it is not 120, 200 million people you have. Talk about per capita income. The relevant people are less than 80 million. Don't forget that about 60 to 70 million people are living below poverty line. They have no business to all this grammar we're speaking. They don't even have bank accounts. Right? They don't. You'll be shocked at people that look. There are people that don't have bank accounts but have a mobile phone, even if it's a touchlight phone.
Very true.
Telecoms beats you hands down in every ramification.
Hands
right?
down.
In any ramifications, right? Matter of fact, when the stuff happened, MTN's response was send out a message to say there are alternatives to recharge.
Was switching.
And they switched to, I mean, they have options. They have Carbon, they have CUDA, they have Flutterwave.
Yes.
Right?
And it happened.
And you know,
immediately.
so, and this is a case study for even small businesses. To know that you have power. Stop hustling for crumbs when you can get the big meal. Stop acting too grateful for a partnership with a big dog.
Yeah.
You're more intimate. And small businesses need to take pride in being small. There's this too much. I don't know where Nigeria got this fake life thing from, where small business try to form big business, and in that process you lose your strength of being a small business. Right? Everybody has a strength. As a small business, you're more intimate to your customer.
Yeah.
Big businesses don't care about you. They don't know you. Right? You were right. And once again, matter of fact, if the banks decide to send a message, they will still send it to SMS, which is still telcos. So either way, your SSD code, your OTP code is still SMS. So they should not just have gone there. What just happened was the CBN and the NCC stepped in, right? Which is that still thing of bankers committee using CBN to drive home the agenda, right? If Nigeria really worked, right, they would not be raping, some of these banks would not be raping, right, their customers. I mean, you get 4,000 naira, a small guy gets 4,000 naira alert on his phone. Next thing they're withdrawing funny charges from it. I have a bank account that I've never collected ATM card from. I've never. Every month I get ATM charges.
Yes.
Charges.
I've had that experience.
And it's not like the regulators don't know. But we know how Nigeria runs. The regulators, the person in top of the regulator CBN was a banker, right? And we know how this thing works, right? Let's not even fool ourselves. But until people understand that we are the change people need, right? And until Consumer Protection Act comes into step in, we will always be, there are different forms of, I like to say there is non-sexual rape. The one that happens in enterprise systems, right, in industries, where customers are treated lesser. They're in abusive relationship with their vendors. I mean, a lot of Nigerian banks are abusing their customers. You walk into a bank that has a whole building, 3 floors, and the only 3 people attending to a queue. Is abusive relationship, is rape, and it's absolutely wrong. And you walk into a bank that has 8 ATMs, none of them is paying money, and you still charge people for ATM maintenance fee. We need regulators to literally come up and stand up for the customers. Consumer Protection Act needs to actually genuinely do their work, right? Servicon needs to do their work. Regulators cannot be slower than practitioners. It happens in all the industry. You see NAFDAC a bit slower than the pharmacy companies. So my wife bought a drug for my son, and 3 days, this thing is not working. We have to buy another drug.
We have a caller.
Right?
Sorry, Izu.
Only for it to work.
Let's take this call.
Same brand.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Uzomba. My name is Madam Debbie from Cement.
Good morning, Madam Debbie.
I am really enjoying your conversation with your guest speaker, Mr. Izu.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask him, because he was very, very passionate about customers being the king. But here in Nigeria, customers are the least, and they are the ones that are paying the bills. What is this organization doing to sensitize all of business how to treat their customers?
Good question. Did you get that question?
Thank
you, madam. Thank you. Yeah. She says with all that is happening presently, that what is organizations like yours, like Xavier Consulting, especially in line with what some of the things you just said before her call, what are you doing to enlighten people about their rights as customers towards all these various entities and organizations that run all these services?
So first thing first, we are just players, right? But the first thing I've learned to do is keep the commission going through sensitization, right? Come on this kind of platform and tell customers that you have a right. When I go to the banks and you keep me on a long queue and there are 4 vacant seats, I raise my voice. I say, you can't be trying that thing. You can't send all, I don't know what you have 10 seats.
Why
only 3 people? So people need to have power. And the same thing I've always asked for in governance. People need to speak up. How many people know their local government chairman? Start from that, right? How many people know that your president is almost acting like he's doing you a favor, right? He's an employee to us, right? And people, consumer protection rights and customers need to know their rights, right? It's really important, right? Right, you're driving in traffic. Some guy with a convoy who's supposed to be serving you is bashing your car because he's telling you, clear the road, even though he's following one way. Even though he's following one way, and he's still trying to shout at you, right? But so sensitization is important. People need to know their rights. People need to be more educated beyond 4 walls of school. That's 1. 2 is, I think that people need to get involved more with governance, right? You see, until your Senate and your House of Rep is not full of retired governors, right? And people who genuinely didn't even serve while they could, and then their compensation plan is to retire to Abuja, right? Things are not going to change until you have people who are industry experts take up slots in governance, right? You're going to have this challenge. So I'll give you a practical example. If you've run your business before, right, and you're put in regulators, you will know how to run it differently, right? So I think that regulators need to step up, and customers need to force them to step up, right? I would have expected in this fight, this telco versus bank fight, right? I would have expected even the regulators to do a lot more than, but even though I think at the end of the day, they got MTN to revert back from 2.5% to 4.5% or whatever it is in terms of consumers. But the conversion is simple. And then the last one is customer service training. Because don't forget, when you talk about customer service, sometimes we blame too much on the brands. And we forget that these brands are made up of people. And these people are not trained. So if you don't train them, don't blame them. Like I like to say,
jargon you can't train them, jargon out.
You can't blame them. And because we run customer service trainings, we try to say, look, you need to let your guys know that they are humans dealing with humans. Right? It's so easy to forget, especially when stress hits you. Especially in retail. Right? So I think there are 3 things, right? And the CEOs also have to expand their state of mind. Right? Go outside of Nigeria, see how that business you're running runs in outside countries, come back home and mass produce that thing you've learned, right? And for me, this is why I've dedicated my whole life to talking to MDs and CEOs. You can run your business better, and when you run your business better, you give value to customer. You give value to customer, you have lesser cost on marketing because your customers market you because they're satisfied with your business. It's a catch-22 situation, really, if you ask me. So the reality about it is simple, right? Sensitize people, let people know their rights, right? Engage the regulators and the government and the governance of your councils, right? And things will start to look different. And then as human beings, let's practice empathy. The golden rule of life is treat customers how you want to be treated. And treat people how you want to be treated. It's as simple as that. And hopefully I would spend the whole of this weekend breaking down this whole process. I'm going to review a book and I'm going to do a business case study on a lot of businesses to see how the ballast scorecard, the quality of the structure you have, customer experience that customers get, your financial framework that runs your company, and your innovation strategic fit helps you scale and thrive, right? So if you want to attend, you already have the number, right? It's called Decoded. It's a CEO's hangout, and for CEOs, top level executive, get your board, get your team, get your wife. One person in marriage should not be significantly smarter than the other, right? I just think it helps most of the time. So sponsor your spouse, sponsor your colleague, sponsor your team member, sponsor even your MD as a gift. It's just 20,000 naira, right? If to attend, it's only for 20 people. So the first 20 people to send interested gets slots, right? Down. So just say interested to the number 08035202891. I repeat that, 0035 202891. You can follow me on Instagram at EIZU.
Great. Fantastic. Wow, Izu, the popular saying, when you're having fun, time flies. So we're fast coming to the end of today's program. But I would want you, before you leave, in very brief, very, very brief, what will be your final take to both businesses and individuals out there being plagued with all the uncertainties happening in Nigeria and globally? What will be your final takeaway to such individuals and brands?
Strangely, keyword invest. What does invest mean? Not invest money, invest time. Invest time in getting better. Invest time in your mind. Invest time in your relationship. Have a better inner circle. Invest, do the hard work now, and it pays off later. I like to say pay now, play later. If you play now, you pay later. Play on words, right? Pay now,
play later.
To play later. Not play now to pay later. You must do the hard work. There's no shortcut to it. For you to make juice, you must crush the fruit, right? For you to make wine, you must crush the grape, right? For you to make diamond, you must go through pressure, right? For you to make oil, you must crush the olive. For you to make omelette, you must break the egg. True. The world has not found alternative to these things.
True.
Neither is success. Let's stop looking for this whole elevator. Let's take the stairs. Let's do the work. Because that work is not just the result. The process you learn in that will scale you up.
Fantastic.
I hope it helps.
Fantastic. Wow, what a day it has been. It's been a wonderful time with my guest today, Izu Uoma, the founder and MD of Xavier Consulting. And we've talked a lot about very useful tips that can help your business and even yourself thrive in today's competitive environment. And as you heard him say, make it a date this Saturday for Decoded. Decoded is a one in a lifetime event. I've attended it a couple of times, and trust me, it was worth the time. If you want to learn, if you want to get to meet other top business executives and CEOs, that is the place to be. So we can't say everything in one stretch. We can't say everything in one day. So this will be a very good opportunity for you to spend a considerable amount of your hours learning, networking, and of course, whining and dining. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in a relaxed environment on a weekend to chill out, as we say? It's been a wonderful time, and I'd like to say special thanks to my guest, Izu Uoma, for making it a date with us today. He's a regular with us, and we're always excited this time we have him. And we also want to say thank you to all of our wonderful callers. For those who were able to come through, we say thank you for your continuous support and love. And for those who were not able to get through due to some network technicalities, we say sorry about that, and continue to give us your call each time we have this program. Well, until we come your way, same time, same station, Hot 93.3 FM Lagos. I still remain your humble host, William Suzamba, telling you to keep it a date with us next week, Thursday, 9 a.m. on Financial Matters, brought to you by Fidelity Bank. And as I always say on this program, continue to keep a positive mind, and the sky might just be the beginning of your success. Bye, guys.
Amazing as ever.
Now, here's a thought.
Consistent callers who follow your
what's your word worth? As good as the sun or like the wind? Elusive. Here, there, gone. What evil I had was your word. Out here in the rain, but your promise, like a donut, had a hole in it. Trustworthy, reliable, bankable fidelity. A wise man once told me the world was built on these qualities, on words. Because every person, like every bank, is only as good as their word.
With Fidelity, we keep our word.